If you don't build a system, you'll keep fixing the same problems over and over again. That's the truth most people ignore. They keep trying harder without changing how they live. They wake up with no real plan. They react to whatever comes their way. They stay busy, but they don't move forward. That's not a life of growth. That's a life stuck on repeat. This isn't because they're lazy. It's because they don't have a system. A system gives your day direction. It removes guesswork. It helps you stay focused even when you don't feel your best. This video is not about hype. It's about giving you something that works, something you can use every day. You'll learn how to build structure around your goals, how to stop wasting time, and how to create habits that carry you forward. No more starting over. No more confusion. If you're ready to finally feel in control of your life, stay with this message. It will change how you move through each day and eventually how your future turns out. Chapter 1. Take control of your days before they control you. You know, one of the saddest things I've seen in life is when a person lets the day control them. They wake up late, they rush through the morning, they get distracted, they scroll through their phone, they chase after problems they didn't plan for, and then they get to the end of the day with nothing real to show for it. They didn't choose what happened. The day chose for them. And when that happens over and over again, when you're always reacting, always behind, always stressed, you start to feel like your life isn't yours. That's the beginning of burnout. That's when confidence starts to slip, and deep down you feel it, that silent frustration, the sense that you're not living the way you're meant to. Now here's the truth. You will never feel in control of your future until you learn to take control of your days. That's where real change starts, not in some big fancy plan, but in what you do when the alarm rings, in how you handle the first hour of your day, in whether you lead the day or the day leads you. Most people don't have a system. They just wake up and hope the day goes well, hope they feel motivated, hope everything lines up, but hope is not a strategy. If you want to live life on your terms, you need to get out of the cycle of waiting and start building a structure that supports who you want to become. It begins with a decision. You say to yourself, I'm done drifting. I'm done starting and stopping. I'm going to get serious. I'm going to take my time seriously. Because if I don't, I'll keep feeling stuck. When you take control of your days, you take back your power. That means you don't check your phone first thing in the morning. You don't leave your goals to chance. You don't say, we'll see how it goes. You decide how it goes. You build a rhythm. You build a process. You say, every morning, this is what I do. Every afternoon, this is how I manage my focus. Every night, this is how I review myself. And I'll tell you this, once you start doing that, your life starts to feel different, not perfect, but better. You start waking up with direction. You stop feeling behind all the time. You stop saying yes to things that don't matter. And you begin to protect your energy like it matters. Because it does. The reason most people never change isn't because they're not capable. It's because they never built the right system. They keep starting from scratch. They keep chasing motivation. But discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from structure. If you want to feel strong and confident, you need to remove the randomness from your life. Think about it. If your day is full of distractions, how will you ever focus on what matters? If you don't know what your priorities are, how will you ever get real results? You can't build your dream life in chaos. You need clarity. You need order. You need simplicity. And here's the key. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need 100 steps. You just need to know your next move and commit to it. Maybe it's waking up an hour earlier. Maybe it's setting time blocks for deep work. Maybe it's planning tomorrow before you go to sleep. These small steps, when done daily, change everything. But you've got to do them. Not talk about them, not think about doing them. Do them. Because doing creates confidence. Doing builds momentum. Doing shapes your identity. When you take control of your days, your mind starts to change. You don't see yourself as weak anymore. You start believing in yourself. You trust your own decisions. And that confidence carries over into everything. Your work, your relationships, your health. You also begin to realize what really matters. You stop chasing everything. You focus on the few things that move your life forward. You become intentional. That's when your time becomes valuable, not just to others, but to you. You stop wasting it. You stop giving it away carelessly. One of the best feelings in the world is when you wake up and you know exactly what to do. You don't feel overwhelmed. You don't feel scattered. You're clear. You're prepared. You're in control. And that's not a result of talent. It's a result of building the right system. You know what breaks most people? It's not failure. It's not criticism. It's not even pressure. It's chaos. Chaos in their routine, chaos in their thoughts, chaos in their time. When your life feels unstructured, your confidence disappears, your focus fades, your standards drop, and before you know it, weeks go by and nothing has changed. But when you decide enough is enough and you build a plan, a system, you take that power back. You start moving with clarity. You show up stronger. You feel sharper. You don't waste energy on useless things anymore. You don't keep starting over every Monday. You build a structure that supports your peace. That's real success. Not more noise, not more chaos, but more control. People say they want freedom, but freedom isn't the absence of structure. Freedom is having the right structure that gives you control over your life. You earn freedom when you master your time. You earn peace when you protect your attention. It's not about being perfect. You're going to mess up. You'll have bad days. You'll feel off sometimes. But the system keeps you on track. The system helps you recover faster. It gives you a place to return to when everything else feels unstable. So I want you to ask yourself right now, are you leading your day, or is the day leading you? Are you running your schedule, or is it running you? Are you building the life you want, or are you just reacting to whatever shows up? Because if you're not intentional, life will pull you in every direction. It'll drain your energy, it'll waste your time, it'll break your focus, and years from now you'll look back and wonder what happened. You'll ask, where did the time go? And the answer will be, it went to everyone else's agenda but yours. So build your own. Build a system that works for you. One that's simple, one that's consistent, one that fits your goals, one that helps you win the day before it even starts. Start small. Set one rule, one new habit, one thing you'll do every morning no matter what. Then build from there. Stack good decisions. Keep your promises to yourself. Track your progress. Adjust when needed. This is your time, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Your future is built in what you do today. So take back your time. Own your routine. Lead your day. That's how you change everything. And once you get it, once you start living this way, you won't go back, because you'll realize how much stronger you feel, how much clearer your mind is, how much progress you're making without burning out. That's not luck, that's not talent, that's structure, that's self-respect. That's the system you built and the future you deserve. Chapter 2. Create structure so you stop feeling lost every day. Most people don't lack motivation, they lack structure. They wake up unsure of what to do. They move through the day without a plan. They keep switching from one thing to another. And when the day ends, they feel like they've been busy all day, but accomplished nothing meaningful. That feeling of being lost doesn't come from laziness, it comes from living without direction. You don't need to work harder, you need to get organized. If your life feels out of control, you have to stop trying to fix everything at once. Start with structure. Structure doesn't make you rigid, it gives you clarity. It removes confusion. It protects your time. It shows you where to focus. Without it, you'll always be overwhelmed. You'll always feel scattered. You'll keep waking up with good intentions and ending the day with frustration. When you don't have structure, your emotions lead the way. And emotions are unpredictable. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel tired. If you only act based on how you feel, you'll keep falling into cycles. You'll keep saying, "I'll do better tomorrow." But tomorrow turns into next week, then next month, and then you wonder why your life hasn't changed. That's why you need structure. It gives you a system to follow when your emotions are low. It keeps you grounded when life gets noisy. It saves your energy by eliminating decision fatigue. You don't have to think about what to do next. You already planned it. Without structure, you waste your mental energy on the wrong things. You worry about everything at once. You try to fix 10 problems in one day. You jump from one task to another, and in the end, nothing sticks. Your mind stays tired. Your goals feel too far, and you stop believing in yourself. You've got to make it simple again. You need a clear path, not 100 ideas. Just a system you can repeat, a way to wake up and know exactly what to focus on. You don't need perfect discipline. You need better design. Your life becomes easier when your days are better organized. So start there. Write things down. Decide what your morning looks like. Choose a time you wake up. Plan what matters most and put it at the top. Stop leaving your energy to chance. Don't leave your goals up to random windows in the day. Be clear, be direct, be focused. Think about this. How much time have you already lost because your days were chaotic? How many times have you started something with excitement and then dropped it because your days had no flow? How many projects, habits, and changes failed? Not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't have the right system behind you. Structure is not about being perfect. It's about building something you can rely on. It's about choosing a few rules that guide you. It's about designing your time instead of reacting to it. You don't need to figure out your whole life. Just figure out your next 24 hours. What will you do? What will you not do? What gets your full attention? When you create structure, your confidence rises. You stop doubting yourself. You stop feeling stuck. You begin to move with purpose. You trust your plan, and even on the bad days, you still show up. That's the power of structure. It keeps you going even when life gets hard. One reason people avoid structure is because they think it will make life boring. But the truth is, structure gives you freedom. When your important work is done on time, you feel relaxed. When your schedule is clear, you feel focused. When your routines are strong, your mind is peaceful. That's not boring. That's power. You don't have to plan every hour. You just need key anchors in your day. A strong start, a focused middle, a clean finish. That alone can transform how you feel and perform, because structure eliminates confusion. It reduces stress. It stops the feeling of being pulled in too many directions. When your life has structure, you don't need to constantly rebuild momentum. You don't keep starting over, you keep going. Progress becomes natural, small wins add up, and your system becomes stronger than your excuses. But if you don't build that structure, the world will build one for you, and it won't be in your favor. You'll get dragged into other people's plans. You'll say yes when you should say no. You'll respond to everything that pops up, and slowly your time will disappear. Your priorities will fade. Your focus will be lost. So choose to lead your life. Choose to create your rhythm. Wake up and decide what matters to you. Make a schedule that serves your purpose. Block the hours where you focus. Protect the time you need to think. Respect your own rules. That's how you stop feeling lost. And don't wait until life calms down. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Start now, even if it's messy, even if it's hard, because clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. The more you take action, the clearer things get. The more structure you build, the less noise you deal with. You'll start noticing changes. You'll feel more in control. You'll finish your days with satisfaction instead of regret. You'll have energy left in the evening because you used your day well. You'll see your goals getting closer, not because you tried harder, but because you finally got organized. Most people want change, but they don't want to change their days. They think results will just show up, but results are the reflection of how you use your time. If you fix your day, you fix your life. If your day has structure, your growth becomes automatic. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't need a perfect plan. Just start. Choose a wake-up time. Decide when you'll do your most important work. Make your to-do list simple. Set limits on distractions, and most importantly, follow through, even when it's not easy. At first, it'll be uncomfortable. You'll want to go back to what's easy. You'll be tempted to break your own rules, but stay with it. Give it time. Give yourself a few solid weeks, because once you feel the power of structure, you won't want to go back to the chaos. And remember, this is not about pressure. It's about peace. It's about walking into each day knowing exactly what you need to do. No panic, no guessing, no guilt, just progress. If you want your life to change, don't start with dreams. Start with your daily structure. That's where real success begins. That's how you stop feeling lost. That's how you start building a future that feels right. One day at a time. Chapter 3. Build habits that work even when you feel tired. Most people can do the right things when they feel good, when they're full of energy, when they're motivated, when everything is going smoothly. That's not the hard part. The real challenge is doing what needs to be done when you're tired, when your mind is foggy, when you don't feel like it. That's when most people give in. That's when they start to slip. But if you can build habits that still work even in those moments, that's when you win. Because here's the truth. You won't feel your best every day. No one does. Some days you'll wake up feeling heavy. Some nights you won't sleep well. Some weeks your mind will feel drained. And if your entire system depends on you feeling great, you're not going to be consistent. You need something stronger than emotion. You need habits that work regardless of your mood. It starts by removing the idea that you need to feel ready. That belief will keep you stuck. If you wait until you feel fully energized, you'll keep missing the most important actions. Your progress will be inconsistent. Your goals will stay far away. So stop negotiating with your energy. Start building habits that run automatically. You do that by making your habits simple, not easy, simple. A habit that's so clear, so small, and so defined that you don't have to think about it. You just show up and do it, no questions, no delays. That's how habits become real, when they're built into your system, not your feelings. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do that. You don't need a YouTube video or a new planner. You just do it. It's part of your life. That's what you want with your growth habits. You want to reach that point where it's not a debate, it's just what you do. But it doesn't start there. It takes repetition. It takes clarity. You have to decide what matters and attach it to your daily structure. That could mean 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of planning, 20 minutes of focused work. Whatever it is, make it specific. Don't say, "I'll try to do it." Decide when, where, and how. And here's what matters most. Do it even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's when the habit is being built. That's when your brain learns that this is part of who you are now. Not someone who waits for the perfect moment, but someone who keeps moving forward, no matter how the day feels. Because once a habit is built that way, it starts to serve you. It gives back. It becomes a source of strength. On the days when your mind feels slow, the habit gives you direction. On the days when motivation disappears, the habit keeps your progress alive. You'll never regret building habits that help you grow, but you will regret giving in to comfort too many times. You'll regret skipping the small things that lead to the big changes. You'll regret letting tiredness become your identity instead of a temporary feeling. So how do you make these habits stick? First, strip away the extra noise. Most people overcomplicate things. They try to change everything at once, then they burn out. Don't do that. Pick 1 or 2 habits that truly matter right now. Get clear on why they matter. Then make a commitment that you'll do them no matter how you feel. Set the bar low enough that there are no excuses. If you can't do 20 push-ups, do 5. If you can't write a full page, write 1 sentence. If you can't read a full chapter, read 1 paragraph. It's not about how much you do, it's about not skipping. Skipping is what breaks the habit. Action, even if it's small, is what strengthens it. You can always scale up later, but first prove to yourself that you can show up, tired, distracted, or unmotivated, and still follow through. That's the foundation. Once that's in place, you'll start to trust yourself more. You'll start to feel more stable. You'll know that even on the worst days, you've got a process that keeps you going. There will be mornings when your energy is low, evenings when your brain feels foggy. That's reality. That's life. But when you have habits built into your day, you don't fall apart, you stay on track, you get through it, and that consistency becomes your advantage. It also rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's always falling off. You start seeing yourself as someone who stays the course. That shift in identity is powerful. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes the decisions you make. It raises your standards. And it's not about being a machine. You're human. You need rest. You need breaks. But you don't need to disappear for days. You don't need to restart every Monday. You need a rhythm that respects both your goals and your limits. And that rhythm comes from habits you don't have to fight with. You don't need a brand new system every time you feel tired. You need one system that works even when your energy dips. That's where discipline is built, in the quiet moments when no one's watching, and you still choose to do what matters. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for reliability. Build something you can keep doing, something that serves your future, something that helps you grow even on your off days. Start small, but be consistent. Focus on the habit, not the feeling. Make it easy to begin. Design your environment so it supports your actions. Put your phone in another room. Lay your clothes out the night before. Turn off the things that pull your attention. Structure your space like someone who takes their time seriously. Because when your habits are tied to your environment, not your mood, they become easier to follow. You don't have to convince yourself. You just follow the cues you created. Eventually, it becomes second nature. You don't dread your habits. You rely on them. They become part of your rhythm. And that rhythm builds confidence, It builds momentum. It gives you something to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. You don't rise to the level of your intentions, you fall to the level of your systems. So make your system simple. Make it real. Make it something you can keep doing, even if the day is long and your mind feels heavy. Because those are the days that matter most. Not when everything is going well, but when it's not, and you still show up. That's when your future is being shaped. That's when real progress is being made. That's when you earn the results that others keep chasing. So build those habits now. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Don't aim for perfect conditions. Aim for repeatable action. And keep showing up, tired or not, until showing up becomes who you are. Chapter 4. Set rules for yourself and follow them without excuses. If you want to change your life, you have to stop leaving everything to chance. You have to stop letting your mood decide what you'll do and when you'll do it. The truth is, most people don't need more motivation. They need more structure. They need personal rules. Not suggestions, not preferences, real rules. Rules that are non-negotiable. Rules that don't change when the day feels hard or when the comfort kicks in. People with no personal rules live in constant chaos. They start things and don't finish. They speak about goals but never commit. They wake up late, procrastinate, and then explain it away with excuses. And over time, this pattern becomes who they are. Not because they aren't capable, but because they never set clear standards for themselves. No real structure, no self-control, just feelings running the day. When you live that way, you never feel proud. You might feel relieved in the moment when you skip a task or delay a responsibility, but that relief fades quickly. What stays is the guilt, the frustration, the low confidence, and it piles up. One skipped decision at a time. That's why setting personal rules is one of the most powerful things you can do, not for others, for yourself. A rule is something you live by. It's a line you don't cross. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. If you tell yourself you don't eat junk food during the week, that's a rule. If you say you wake up at 6 a.m. regardless of how you feel, that's a rule. If you commit to 1 hour of focused work daily, that's a rule. And these rules over time shape your life, because they remove the need to negotiate with your feelings every day. The more you leave things open, the more you'll break your word. If you say, "I'll try to get it done today," that opens the door to delay. But if you say, "I do this at 9 a.m. every day," there's no discussion. It either happens or it doesn't. And when you live by those standards, you begin to trust yourself. You begin to walk with strength. You stop relying on hype and energy. You rely on commitment. But here's what breaks that commitment: excuses. The voice in your head that says, "Just for today, it's fine." That voice will destroy you if you listen to it long enough, because it sounds reasonable. It says things like, "You had a long day, skip it," or "You'll make up for it tomorrow." But the truth is, tomorrow won't be easier. Tomorrow won't magically give you more strength. The habit you skip today becomes the habit you struggle with again tomorrow. You need to cut the excuses and get honest with yourself. If your rule is no scrolling after 9 p.m. and you keep breaking it, that's a problem. If your rule is 1 hour of learning per day and you haven't done it in a week, that's a problem. And the problem isn't time, it's not stress, it's not your job. The problem is that you allowed yourself to make exceptions, and once you do it once, it gets easier to do it again. That's how rules die, not in big moments, but in small justifications. So you've got to protect your rules like they matter. Because they do. They protect your future, They hold your focus. They shape your reputation. With others, yes, but most importantly with yourself. When you say, "I do this," and you do it, even when it's hard, that creates identity. You start to believe in your discipline. You carry yourself with certainty. You stop talking about improvement and start living it. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start small. Pick 2 or 3 rules. Not 20, not 50, just a few that hit hard, that make a real difference. Like no phone until after your first task is done, or work out every Monday, Wednesday and Friday no matter what, or review your goals every Sunday evening. These are not preferences, these are rules. And once they're set, your job is to follow them without exception. This is where people go wrong. They set rules and then break them the first time it gets uncomfortable, and then they tell themselves the rule wasn't realistic. But the truth is, it wasn't the rule that failed, it was their discipline. If you're always adjusting your rules to match your feelings, you'll never be consistent. You'll always be chasing a version of yourself that never arrives. Rules don't work unless you back them with action. And action doesn't happen unless you build mental strength. That strength comes from repetition, from doing what you said you'd do, not once or twice, but over and over, until it's automatic, until it's not even a debate in your head anymore. This builds a foundation you can rely on. Life gets easier when you have rules. Your mind gets quieter. Your choices get simpler. Your time gets clearer. You don't waste energy wondering what to do. You already decided. That decision is done. You just execute. And if you break a rule, don't make excuses. Don't justify it. Don't blame the day. Just face it. Own it. Fix it. Get back on track immediately. Don't wait for next week. Don't start over later. Get back to the rule like your future depends on it, because it does. People often look for outside systems to keep them disciplined. Apps, alarms, reminders. And those can help, but nothing is more powerful than an internal standard. Something you decided, something you follow, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. That's how strength is built. In the quiet, in the unseen. In those moments when you're tired, bored, unmotivated, and you still stick to the rule. Not because it's fun, but because it's who you are now. Eventually, these rules become the reason people trust you, the reason your results show up, the reason you feel in control. You'll notice that your stress goes down because you don't have to think so much. You just live by the standards you created. And if you want to grow faster, make your rules tighter. Raise your standard just a little more. Make the rules clearer. Make the boundaries stronger. Keep stretching yourself, but never stretch so far that you can't stay consistent. That balance is key. Push yourself, but don't punish yourself. You're not chasing perfection. You're building reliability. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. Can you rely on you? Can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I do what I say"? That feeling is powerful. That confidence changes everything. So set your rules. Make them simple. Make them honest. Make them real. Then follow them with no excuse, no delay, no back and forth. When you live that way, you don't have to wait for success. You create it, one rule at a time, one strong decision at a time, one solid day at a time. That's how you build a life you can be proud of. Chapter 5. Plan your day so you stop wasting your time. Every person has the same 24 hours, but not everyone gets the same results. The difference isn't in time, it's in how that time is used. If your days feel wasted, if you keep ending them feeling like you were busy but not productive, then the real issue isn't effort, it's planning. Without a daily plan, you fall into survival mode. You wake up with no direction. You spend your energy reacting instead of creating. You move through the hours doing things that feel urgent but never important. That's not living intentionally, that's drifting. When you don't plan your day, you leave your time open to distractions. You give your attention to things that pull you away from your real goals. You end up doing low-value tasks while high-value goals sit untouched. You check emails, you scroll, you respond to random requests, but deep down, you know those things don't move your life forward. You know what matters, but you never get to it, and every time you delay it, you lose a little trust in yourself. Planning your day is not about filling every minute. It's about deciding what deserves your focus. It's about telling your time where to go instead of wondering where it went. When you plan ahead, you stay in control. You don't wait for the right mood. You act based on what you've decided in advance. That's how real progress is made, not through random effort, but through consistent planning. Most people wait until they feel pressure to get serious. But if you plan your day right, you stop chasing deadlines. You stop rushing. You get ahead. You create space to think. You work on the things that matter before they become problems. That's the real benefit of planning. It's not just about productivity, it's about peace. Start each day with clarity. Before the world pulls you in 100 directions, know exactly what you want to get done. Not everything, just the most important things. Choose 3, write them down. These are your priorities. These are non-negotiable. These are the things that move your life forward. Everything else comes after. Once you have your priorities, give them a place on your schedule. Don't just make a list. Block the time. If something matters, it deserves a spot on your calendar. When your priorities are scheduled, they get done. When they're just sitting on a list, they're easy to ignore. Break your day into focused blocks. Set a time to work deeply without interruptions. Then set a time to rest. Your brain can't stay locked in forever. It needs recovery. But don't mix the two. Don't try to work while you're relaxing, or relax while you're supposed to be working. That in-between zone drains you more than anything else. Protect your focus by planning your distractions. Check your phone at set times. Answer messages in batches. Don't keep switching tasks. Every switch costs energy. Every distraction resets your focus. If you're always reacting, you're never building. So choose when to engage with the outside world and when to shut it off. When you plan your day well, you avoid decision fatigue. You don't have to ask yourself what to do next. You already decided. You follow the plan. That gives you more mental space. You can think clearer. You can respond better. You stop wasting time deciding and start using that time to act. And planning doesn't mean your day has to be perfect. Some things will go wrong. Life will throw surprises. But when you have a plan, you can adjust without losing everything. You don't collapse because one task moved. You shift, you adapt, but you stay grounded because you had a structure in place. One of the most powerful habits you can build is planning your day the night before. Before you go to bed, take 5 minutes and lay out your next day. Decide when you'll wake up. Choose your top priorities. Review what worked today and what didn't. This habit alone can change your entire pace. You'll sleep better knowing your day is ready. You'll wake up without chaos. You'll walk into your morning with direction instead of confusion. If you don't plan your day, someone else will. You'll get pulled into their plans. You'll answer their emails. You'll get caught in their emergencies, and your goals will sit untouched. Don't let that happen. Your time is your responsibility. You can't get it back once it's gone. Most people don't realize how much time they waste until they start tracking it. They think they're busy. But being busy is not the same as being productive. You can spend hours in motion and get nothing important done. Don't confuse effort with effectiveness. The only way to be effective is to plan. Planning forces you to face the truth. It shows you how much time you really have. It makes you aware of your habits. It forces you to choose between what matters and what doesn't. That kind of awareness is uncomfortable, but necessary, because once you see where your time is going, you can take it back. Start tracking your patterns. Notice what times of day you're most focused. Protect those hours. Put your hardest work there. Don't waste those blocks on meetings or errands. Use them to build your future. Then put the lighter tasks in the times when your energy dips. Work with your rhythm. Don't fight it. When you start doing this every day, your results change. You feel less overwhelmed.
You stop rushing all the time, you get more done in fewer hours, and you still have space left over for your health, your family, your peace. The truth is, planning is an act of self-respect. It says, my time matters, my goals matter, I won't let this day slip away. It means you care enough about your life to design it. You're not waiting for luck, you're building structure. That's how serious people live, that's how winners operate. And the beautiful part is, it's simple. You don't need a perfect planner or expensive tools. You just need a notebook, a quiet moment, and honesty. Ask yourself, what do I need to do tomorrow to move forward? What am I wasting time on? What needs to go? Then answer it. Then act on it. Every day. Don't wait for a new week or a new month. Start tonight. Plan tomorrow. Not next year, tomorrow. Give your next 24 hours a purpose. Don't let it become another blur. Choose what you'll work on. Choose what you'll say no to. Choose how you'll spend your time, because the quality of your life is shaped by how you spend your days, and how you spend your days is shaped by how you plan them. So take control, make it count, decide before the world decides for you. That's how you stop wasting your time. That's how you move from busy to effective. That's how you create results that last. One planned day at a time.
Chapter 6. Do what matters first, not what feels easy. Most people wake up and look for the easiest thing to do first. They check their phone, they scroll, they answer messages, they organize their desk. They look busy, but they're not actually moving forward. They're avoiding the hard thing, the important thing, the thing that actually changes their life. They choose what feels easy over what matters most, and that's the reason they stay stuck. You can't build a strong life by running from discomfort. Every day you're faced with a choice. You can take on the task that challenges you, the one that makes you grow, the one that pushes you forward. Or you can delay it, hide from it, distract yourself with something light and familiar. That one choice made over and over shapes your results. People who win aren't doing more things, they're doing the right things, and they're doing them early in the day, while they're still sharp. You can't afford to waste your best energy on things that don't matter. When you spend your focus on low-value tasks, you leave nothing for the goals that count. By the time you get to them, your brain is tired, your motivation is gone, and suddenly what could have taken 1 hour takes 3. Or worse, you skip it altogether. You say, I'll do it tomorrow, and that cycle repeats, over and over, until weeks pass and your progress is still sitting at 0. If you want to get ahead, stop doing what feels comfortable in the moment. Comfort won't take you anywhere. Growth lives in the hard task, in the thing you don't want to face, in the thing you keep pushing to the afternoon. That's the work you need to start with. That's the task you put at the top. Because once it's done, everything else feels easier. Your mind is clear, your energy is lighter, you carry a sense of pride into the rest of the day. Start your mornings with intention. Don't wake up and wander. Know what matters, and face it first. The thing you've been avoiding, that's where your focus needs to go. Maybe it's a difficult conversation. Maybe it's a workout. Maybe it's writing the first page. Maybe it's solving the hard problem in your business. Whatever it is, tackle it before the world distracts you. Do it before your mind starts looking for a way out. Most people don't fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because they don't do what they already know matters. They let fear take the wheel. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of not doing it perfectly. So instead of acting, they stall. They stay busy with tasks that make them feel productive, but change nothing. Checking emails, cleaning their space, reading articles, rearranging their list, all noise, no progress. You need to understand that discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is a signal that you're doing something meaningful, that you're stepping into a place where growth happens, that you're challenging a version of yourself that wants to stay small. If you want results that last, stop making decisions based on ease. Start making them based on what matters. The day always gets harder. The longer you wait, the less likely you are to follow through. That's why the first hour is so important. That's when your willpower is strongest. That's when your mind is clearest. That's when your attention is most valuable. Don't waste it on nonsense. Don't trade your peak energy for temporary relief. Use it to push yourself forward, to tackle the one thing you know you need to do.
There's power in starting with purpose. It sends a message to your mind. I am in control. I choose how this day goes. I lead. I don't follow my feelings. That one shift in how you begin your day can separate you from 90% of people, because while they're easing into the morning, you're already building momentum. And momentum matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable, but momentum builds on itself. When you do one hard thing, it becomes easier to do the next. You start stacking wins. You feel stronger. You feel in control. And that confidence carries into every part of your life. So ask yourself this: what is the one thing you've been avoiding? What's the task that makes you hesitate? What's the work that would move your life forward, but you keep putting off? That's your signal. That's the work you start your day with. Not after breakfast, not after emails, not after cleaning up. First, and don't overthink it. Don't wait until you feel inspired. Just start. Open the file. Get your shoes on. Make the call. Take the step. Action is the cure for hesitation. Once you begin, everything gets clearer. But if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll stay stuck, because that moment doesn't exist. It's built by doing the work. This is about self-respect. It's about proving to yourself that your time matters, that your goals matter, that your future is worth the effort. Because when you keep choosing what's easy, you send a message to yourself that you don't believe you can handle hard things, and that message eats away at your confidence. You build belief by doing hard things first, by showing yourself that you can lead your time, not just survive the day. That kind of discipline carries weight. People feel it. You feel it. It shows up in your habits, your results, your tone, your posture. You don't need to talk about your goals. People can see them in how you show up. So stop giving your best hours to distractions. Stop letting the world tell you what's urgent. Get clear on what truly matters, the tasks that bring real growth, the habits that build strength, the goals that align with your values, and then do them first, not later, not when it's convenient, first. This principle applies everywhere. In your career, don't check messages before your most important work is done. In your health, don't wait until the end of the day to move your body. In your relationships, don't postpone hard conversations until resentment builds. The things that matter most must be prioritized. You're not too busy. You're just busy doing the wrong things first. Reorder your day. Put the meaningful work at the top. Block distractions. Follow through. And don't break the streak. One good day turns into two. Two turns into a week turns into a new standard. That's how habits are built. That's how identity shifts. And on the days you don't feel like it, do it anyway. Especially on those days. That's where the breakthrough happens. Not when it's easy, when it's difficult, when you're tempted to delay, when every part of you wants to take the shortcut. If you can win in that moment, you're unstoppable. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You don't need more tools. You need more focus. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act. Make a habit of facing what matters before everything else. That's how you make real progress. That's how you stop drifting. That's how you live on purpose. Choose what matters most, and do it first, every single day. That's how real change begins. That's how you build a life that moves forward, not in circles. That's how you rise. That's how you win. Chapter 7. Remove the things that keep making you weak. If your life feels stuck, if your energy is low, if your progress keeps fading just when it starts to feel real, then it's time to be honest about what's weighing you down. Not what you need to add, but what you need to remove. There are things in your life that are making you weaker every single day, and as long as they stay, no plan, no goal, no system will save you. Strength doesn't just come from what you do, it comes from what you no longer allow. You can have big goals, but if your environment is filled with distractions, those goals will stay out of reach. You can write the best plans, but if you keep surrounding yourself with people who drain your focus, you'll never stick to them. You can read the best books, listen to the best advice, but if you don't cut the habits that keep pulling you backward, your growth will always be temporary. You don't need to start with more pressure, you need to start with more clarity. And clarity begins when you stop lying to yourself about what's hurting you. Look closely. What are the daily actions that make you feel empty? What are the patterns you repeat that lead to regret? What are the behaviors that steal your energy, kill your time, and break your momentum? You already know what they are. It might be the hours you lose scrolling, the way you avoid responsibility by calling it rest, the junk food you say you'll stop eating tomorrow, the friends who always bring drama, the habits you said you'd quit 6 months ago but still make excuses for. These aren't small issues, they're anchors. You cannot rise while carrying the same weight that's been holding you down. Progress is built by subtraction, not just addition. You need to eliminate the unnecessary. You need to cut out what doesn't serve you. That's how strength is built. Not in a perfect world, but in your ability to remove the weak links from your life. You already know where your time is going. You already feel the weight of those weak habits. Stop pretending it's fine. It's not. It's the reason you're tired when you shouldn't be. It's the reason you feel disappointed even when you try. You are not a victim of bad luck. You're living with too many weak patterns. The patterns you tolerate will keep repeating. If you don't stop them, they become your life. One excuse turns into a habit. One bad habit turns into your identity. And that identity shows up in everything. Your energy, your standards, your results. Removing weakness isn't about being perfect. It's about getting serious. It's about no longer accepting what you used to tolerate. It's about saying, I won't let this keep draining me. Even if you've lived with these patterns for years, you can still change, but not by managing them, by removing them, completely, without exception. That means you delete the apps that eat your focus. You block the content that feeds your doubt. You stop going to the places that trigger your old habits. You distance yourself from people who keep you stuck in cycles. You set real boundaries, and you enforce them without apology. People might not like it. Your comfort will definitely resist it. But this isn't about comfort. This is about freedom, and you can't have freedom if you're constantly pulled into weakness. You can't be mentally strong if you keep choosing the same distractions every time things get uncomfortable. Strength comes from discipline, and discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. If what you want most is clarity, then stop choosing confusion. If what you want most is progress, then stop choosing temporary pleasure. You can't live with both. One has to go, and if you're serious, it has to go now. Make a list. Not of goals, not of dreams. Make a list of what's weakening you. What are the things that always leave you feeling worse? What habits steal your confidence? What situations always pull you off track? Name them, write them down, then make a decision not to manage them better, but to remove them completely. It won't be easy. That's the point. Weakness always fights back when it's about to be removed. You'll feel resistance. You'll feel like maybe you're being too harsh, but you're not. You've tried the soft approach already. You've told yourself you'll just cut back or reduce, or balance it better. That never works. You don't cut weakness by negotiation. You cut it by elimination. This is where real power comes in, when you get brutally honest about what's not working and take action that feels uncomfortable. That's where your life changes, not in motivation, not in feeling good, but in bold decisions that cut the dead weight from your days. That's where clarity begins to return. That's when your energy lifts again. That's when you start showing up as the person you know you can be. You don't need anyone's permission to protect your peace. You don't need approval to stop explaining your decisions. If something is killing your progress, it doesn't belong in your life. It doesn't matter if others understand it. It doesn't matter if it's normal. If it makes you weaker, you let it go. And the more you do that, the more space you create. Space for growth, space for discipline, space for better habits, space for real progress. Weakness takes up space. It clutters your thoughts. It fills your time with distractions. When you remove it, everything becomes lighter. You move faster. You think clearer. You act with more strength. You'll notice it in small things at first. You'll feel more in control of your mornings. You'll focus better on what actually matters. You'll respond with more patience. You'll go to bed feeling proud instead of drained. These aren't small wins. These are signs that you're finally in charge of your life, and you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to start. Begin with one decision, one removal, one habit that goes today, not tomorrow. Replace it with silence if you have to. You don't need to add more. You need to remove what's been weighing you down. Let go of what's easy if it's keeping you small. Let go of what's familiar if it's making you tired. You don't grow from keeping your old life comfortable. You grow from clearing the path. This is your moment to make a change that lasts, not by chasing more, but by choosing less. Less of what weakens you, less of what distracts you, less of what steals your power. When you clear that space, you'll find the strength that was buried under the noise. You've had enough moments of doubt. You've had enough failed starts. You've had enough days where you promised change and then went back to the same old patterns. This time, make it different. Remove what you know is holding you back. Stop adjusting to the weakness. Start removing it. Because on the other side of that decision is a version of you that's lighter, stronger, sharper, and more in control than you've ever felt before. But you don't get there by carrying what you've always carried. You get there by finally letting it go completely, without hesitation, without negotiation, without regret. That's how you become powerful again. That's how you become free.
Chapter 8. Follow your system even when no one is watching. The moment you decide to build a system for your life, you're making a decision to live with structure. You're choosing to lead yourself. But the system only works when you stay loyal to it, even when no one's checking in, even when there's no applause, even when it feels like no one cares. That's the test. That's where your character gets built. Because it's easy to show up when people are watching. It's easy to work hard when you're getting praised. It's easy to be disciplined when someone's holding you accountable, but real growth happens in the quiet, when it's just you and the decision to follow through. If you can only stick to your system when someone else is watching, then it's not your system, it's borrowed discipline, it's temporary effort, and that won't last. The moment the spotlight fades, the consistency fades with it. That's not how you build strength. You build strength by keeping your standards high, even when no one is around to check if you did it. That means you go to bed on time, even when you could easily stay up late. It means you do your daily habits, even if you're tired, even if it's been a long day. It means you respect your own schedule, even if no one else will know whether you did or didn't follow it. That's what separates those who change their lives from those who just talk about it. You don't need someone clapping for you every time you follow your system. You don't need external validation to keep going. What you need is integrity, the kind of discipline that comes from doing what you said you would do without needing a reward or recognition. That's the kind of discipline that compounds. That's the kind of discipline that transforms your identity. The world teaches people to perform for attention, to only put in effort when there's something to prove. That mindset is fragile, because the moment things get quiet, it falls apart. But when you build a personal system and you honor it in silence, you build something unshakable. You become dependable to yourself, and that creates confidence that nobody can take from you. Most people fail not because their goals are wrong, but because their habits are inconsistent. They follow their system for a week, then they skip a day, then they try to start again. But that stop and start pattern destroys progress. If you want to break through, you have to keep going, especially when it's boring, especially when no one notices, especially when it feels like nothing is happening yet. You don't owe anyone a performance. You owe yourself discipline. When you do the work quietly, you build a kind of strength that's not visible right away, but it shows up in how you carry yourself. You walk differently when you know you're doing what most people won't do. You feel calm in a loud world. You feel focused in a distracted culture. That comes from internal discipline, not external approval. Ask yourself honestly, do you only work hard when people see it? Do you only stay consistent when someone else is tracking your progress? Because if that's the case, your system isn't built for your life, it's built for someone else's opinion. And opinions fade, motivation fades. What stays is the foundation you've built when no one is looking. The truth is, there will be seasons when no one understands your discipline. They'll think you're being too strict. They'll say you're missing out. They'll question why you're doing so much when no one's keeping score. But you'll know why. You'll know what you're building, and that internal knowing is enough. You don't need permission to take your life seriously. You don't need a crowd to stay consistent. Your system is your safety net. It's what keeps you focused when life throws distractions. It's what brings you back to your purpose when your emotions try to pull you in different directions. But it only works if you follow it, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, when you're alone, when the world feels like it's moving faster than you. That's when your system matters most. And don't confuse silence with failure. Just because no one is clapping for you today doesn't mean your effort doesn't count. Some of the most powerful progress happens in isolation, when you're quietly showing up, when you're training your mind,
when you're stacking habits that don't pay off immediately but will change everything later. That's what growth really looks like. Some days, the reward is just knowing you didn't quit, that you didn't lower your standards, that you stayed true to your system when it would have been easy to take the day off, that you honored your goals even when nobody else noticed. That kind of pride is deeper than praise. It's the kind that can't be faked. And here's the real win. When you follow your system consistently, you no longer need to rely on pressure. You don't have to scramble when deadlines approach. You don't panic when life gets chaotic. Because you've built a rhythm, you've trained yourself to be steady, not reactive. That steadiness becomes your advantage. While others are always trying to catch up, you're already locked in. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be consistent. Follow your plan. Stick to your rules. Show up when it's uncomfortable. That's how transformation happens. Not in one big moment, but in the quiet repetition of daily discipline. People often wait for motivation to kick in before they act. But the truth is, motivation follows action, not the other way around. You don't feel like doing the work first. You do the work and then you feel momentum. And the only way to build that momentum is to follow your system no matter who's watching. This is how you build self-respect. This is how you earn real pride. Not by doing what's easy, not by chasing attention, but by doing the right thing consistently when no one is checking in. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you become the kind of person others rely on, and more importantly, the kind of person you can rely on. You have a system for a reason. It wasn't created for fun. It wasn't designed to impress anyone. It was built to carry you through the tough days, to keep you from falling back into old habits, to keep you focused when life gets noisy. So don't abandon it when things feel quiet. That's when you need it most. Stick to it, even when it's hard, even when progress feels slow, even when no one else sees the effort you're putting in, because eventually your results will speak for you, and they'll say everything that needs to be said. The quiet work always comes first. The growth always happens before the recognition. And if you can stay consistent in the dark, you'll be ready for whatever light comes next. So follow your system. Not sometimes. Not when it feels good. Every single day. No audience required. No spotlight needed. Just you, your standard, and your future. Getting stronger. One quiet choice at a time.
Chapter 9. Check your results and be brutally honest with yourself. One of the hardest things a person can do is look at their life and be fully honest about the results. Not the intentions, not the effort, not the story they tell others, but the actual outcomes. What's really happening? What's really working? What's not? Most people avoid this step because it makes them uncomfortable. It exposes where they're falling short. It reveals the gap between what they say and what they do. But if you're serious about building a better life, you have to check your results. And when you do, you can't sugarcoat them. You can't explain them away. You can't blame everything on someone else. You have to be brutally honest with yourself, even when it stings. It's easy to say you're working hard. It's easy to feel like you're doing your best, but feelings don't always match reality. Sometimes we think we're committed, but our results show inconsistency. Sometimes we believe we're focused, but our progress is moving slowly because we're wasting hours in distraction. Until you measure the truth, you'll keep telling yourself a version of the story that feels good but keeps you stuck. Honesty is the foundation of growth. Without it, all you're building is an illusion. Every goal you've set needs a mirror. That mirror is your results. Are you moving closer to what you said you want, or are you standing in the same place, hoping things will change without changing your actions? Progress doesn't lie. If you said you'd lose weight, did the scale change? If you said you'd earn more, did your income grow? If you said you'd write every day, do you have the pages to show for it? This isn't about judgment. It's about responsibility. It's about owning your path without excuses. A lot of people avoid looking at their results because they're afraid of disappointment. They think, if I really look at this, I'll see how far behind I am. So they distract themselves. They stay busy. They focus on things that feel productive instead of facing the truth. But ignoring the facts doesn't make the problem disappear. It only delays your growth. You have to face it, because you can't fix what you're unwilling to face. When you check your results, don't just glance. Go deep. Look at what you did this week. What did you actually finish? Where did your time go? What habits showed up every day?
What patterns keep repeating? Track it, write it down, review it without bias. Don't defend it, don't soften it, just observe it, because that's where power begins, in accurate self-awareness. Once you know where you are, you can make better decisions about where to go next. Being brutally honest doesn't mean being harsh, it means being clear. You don't shame yourself, you hold yourself accountable, you don't attack your past, you learn from it, but you stop lying about it. You stop pretending a half-finished effort is a win. You stop calling inconsistency a plan. You stop acting like time is on your side when you know you've been wasting it. This kind of honesty builds mental strength. It forces you to level up. It doesn't feel good at first, but it saves you from years of disappointment later. It gives you control. It shifts your focus from emotion to execution, and it makes you sharper, because now you're not just guessing, you're paying attention, you're adjusting, you're evolving. The truth is, your life is always giving you feedback. If your relationships are suffering, that's feedback. If your energy is low, that's feedback. If your goals keep falling apart, that's feedback. But if you don't stop to examine it, you'll miss the message. You'll think it's bad luck or bad timing. It's not. It's your choices, it's your discipline, it's your system, and the faster you see that, the faster you can fix it. Set a time each week to review your results, make it a habit. Sit down, look at your progress, and ask yourself direct questions. What worked this week? What didn't? Where did I let myself down? What habit needs more focus? Don't leave the answers vague. Don't hide behind generalities. Be exact, be precise. That's how you identify the weak points. And once you find the weak points, you can build new solutions around them. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself is, if I keep doing what I did this week for the next year, where will I end up? That question cuts through the noise. It reveals the truth fast. Because if the answer is, I'll be in the same place, then you know something needs to change right now. You don't wait, you adjust. That's what honest people do. They don't protect their pride, they protect their future. Sometimes the hardest part isn't admitting the lack of progress, it's letting go of the story you've been holding on to. The story that says you're trying, the story that says life is too busy, the story that says one day things will magically improve. Those stories keep you safe, but they also keep you weak. When you tell yourself the truth, those stories fall apart, and in that space you build something stronger. A mindset that's rooted in responsibility, not excuses. Your system can only improve if you're honest about how it's working. If your habits aren't producing results, you don't keep doing them out of loyalty. You pivot, you test something better, you experiment, you refine. That's how you grow, not by repeating failure, but by learning from it. Most people want to succeed, but they're too afraid to face their current level. They want the dream, but they're not willing to see the gap. That fear keeps them average. But the truth, the raw, honest, uncomfortable truth, is the doorway to change. Once you stop lying to yourself, you stop settling. And when you stop settling, your progress accelerates. Don't measure yourself against other people. That's not honest. Measure yourself against your own potential. Are you using your time with intention? Are you living the values you say you believe in? Are you showing up every day, or are you hiding behind distractions and calling it effort? The mirror doesn't care about your reasons, it reflects your reality. And here's what happens when you get consistent with this level of honesty. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop making promises you don't keep. You stop setting goals you never act on. You become reliable. You move with purpose. And that integrity spills into everything: your work, your health, your relationships, your mindset. If you want to move forward fast, remove all denial from your life. Denial steals time. Denial makes you repeat mistakes. Denial keeps you explaining your results instead of fixing them. Replace denial with discipline. Replace comfort with clarity. Replace guessing with checking. There's nothing wrong with being behind. There's nothing shameful about being off track. The mistake is pretending you're not. The mistake is acting like things are fine when they're not. Growth doesn't require perfection, it requires truth, and when you live in truth, your next step becomes obvious. Don't wait for rock bottom. Don't wait until the cost gets too high. Check your results now. Make it a priority. Make it your standard. Let it guide your next decision, and do it consistently, every week, every month, for the rest of your life. This is how you stay aligned. This is how you keep your system working, not through motivation, not through hype, but through honesty, through the daily, weekly and monthly habit of telling yourself the truth and making the changes that truth demands. That's the kind of mindset that builds a future you can be proud of. That's how real progress begins. That's how it lasts.
Chapter 10. Keep showing up until your life starts making sense. There will be moments in life when nothing feels clear. You'll question everything. You'll wonder why you even started. You'll look around and feel like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in place. The plan you made won't feel exciting anymore. The habits you've built will start to feel heavy. The goals you wrote down will start to seem too far away. And it's in those moments, the quiet, lonely, heavy ones, that people quit. Not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because they think something is wrong, just because it feels hard. But nothing is wrong. This is part of it. Confusion doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're growing, and the only way through that uncertainty is to keep showing up. Progress is not always obvious while it's happening. You won't always see the benefits right away. Some days you'll work and feel like you're going in circles. You'll put in effort and feel like nothing is changing. But the truth is, every time you show up, every time you stick to your system, every time you follow through, something inside you is shifting. You might not see it yet, but it's happening. Growth is invisible at first. It hides behind repetition. It builds beneath the surface. And then one day, things start to click. The discipline turns into strength. The habits turn into results. The routine turns into rhythm. And your life begins to make sense in a way it never did before. But that only happens if you refuse to disappear. Most people stop too soon. They give up when it gets quiet. They slow down when the emotions fade. They wait for clarity to return before taking action. But clarity doesn't lead action. Action leads to clarity. You don't wait for things to make sense. You move forward anyway. You get up and do the work. You stick to the plan. You hold the line. That's where direction is born, not in thinking, but in doing. There's a reason people feel stuck for years. They start over too many times. They go hard for a few days, then quit the moment it feels messy. And because of that, they never build enough momentum. They never stay in it long enough for their efforts to compound. Then they assume they're the problem, that they're not built for it. But that's not true. The problem isn't you. The problem is that you keep stopping. You don't need another reset. You need to keep going, even when it's dull, even when it's unclear, even when progress feels slow. Especially when progress feels slow, that's when it matters most. Those are the days that separate the talkers from the builders, because the ones who keep showing up through that fog are the ones who eventually break through it. There is no perfect plan. There is no straight path. Everyone who's ever built something meaningful has had moments when they felt lost, but they kept showing up. They kept making decisions. They kept learning. They kept adjusting. And over time, all the small efforts, all the invisible wins, all the boring repetitions, they started to connect. And what once felt like a mess became something solid, something real. You don't owe the world results right away. You owe yourself consistency. The progress might be slow, but your responsibility is simple. Don't disappear. Don't vanish just because no one is clapping. Don't throw it all away just because things feel quiet. Keep doing the things that matter, even when they don't feel exciting, even when you feel like nothing's changing. Your life won't make sense in the middle. It never does. It only makes sense in hindsight. You can only connect the dots after you've done the work. But while you're in it, while you're showing up every day, trying to stay disciplined, trying to stay focused, it's going to feel uncertain. That's the price of growth. That's the cost of building a life that's actually yours. Most people don't understand that. They think the doubt means something is broken. They think if it's uncomfortable, they're doing it wrong. But discomfort doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It means you're outgrowing your old life, and that's never smooth. That's never easy. That's why most people retreat. They choose what's familiar. They go back to the old habits, the old distractions, the old patterns that keep them busy but unchanged. Don't be one of those people. Be the one who keeps showing up. Be the one who keeps moving forward when no one's watching. Be the one who stays consistent, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. Be the one who builds something real, not something temporary. You'll be tempted to question everything. You'll want to rebuild your plan every week. You'll overthink, doubt, hesitate. That's normal, but don't let that stop you.
Don't let your emotions write your schedule. Let your decisions do that. Let your vision lead, not your feelings, because feelings are temporary. Vision is long-term, and the truth is, most people are stronger than they think. They just don't give themselves enough time to see it. They quit in the middle. They walk away right before things start working. They never stay long enough to earn the life they talk about. But you can be different. You can stay in the process long enough for the process to change you. Keep showing up to your goals. Keep showing up to your schedule. Keep showing up to your own standards. Even when no one understands what you're doing. Even when the results are still small. Even when progress is invisible. Because eventually, if you stay consistent, the day will come when it all connects. When the discipline pays off. When the path becomes clear. When your identity shifts. When your confidence returns stronger than ever. And you'll know that it wasn't magic, it was repetition, it was showing up when others wouldn't. The people who succeed are not the ones who had everything figured out from the start. They're the ones who refused to stay down. They're the ones who didn't let confusion stop their commitment. They're the ones who knew that just because life felt off, it didn't mean they were off. They showed up anyway, and that showing up again and again became their strength. If today feels hard, show up anyway. If you're not sure what step to take one anyway. If the results are smaller than you hoped, keep going anyway. Your future is being shaped by what you do right now, not next week, not when things feel better, not when the perfect moment shows up. Now, keep building, keep working, keep trusting the process you started. Because one day you'll look back at this moment, the one where nothing made sense, but you kept going, and you'll realize that was the turning point. That was the day everything changed. That was the day you stopped waiting and started becoming. Keep showing up until your habits become unshakable, until your identity matches your vision, until your life reflects the effort you've been putting in all along. Because the truth is, it's not supposed to feel easy. It's supposed to grow you. And growth always asks one question: will you keep showing up even when it's hard? If the answer is yes, then everything you're working toward is already on its way. Just don't stop. Not now. Not when you're this close. Keep showing up until your life starts making sense. And it will.